All right, here we go. We are ready to start this episode. This is the big one. So, welcome once again to my humble little channel. And if this is your first time here, I'm doing a watch along of Batman the Animated Series. I feel like it's a good point to reintroduce myself and the concept since this is going to be the big one. This is the one that a lot of people have been waiting for. This is probably the most popular and beloved episode of this most popular and beloved series. This is Almost Got Him. Now, if you haven't seen this before, I'm basically going to watch the show and give my thoughts on it as I watch the show. So what I recommend that you, dear viewer, do is pull up the show on your HBO Max or your DVD or your Blu-ray or whatever streaming service that you've purchased or rented this show on, and watch it along with me on the television set. Just put me on your phone. Just put me on your phone over to the side. You can glance over at me to see a reaction or if you want to or not. You can put the phone in such a way where, you can look at the phone and the TV at the same time, like a picture-in-picture kind of thing. But yeah, that's the intention of how you're supposed to watch this show. All right. Hello, Dark. I can't pronounce words. I'm sorry. But welcome. Good to have you. We're about to watch this episode. So if you go and Google BTAS cast, you're probably going to find a picture with Kevin Conroy surrounded by Mark Hamill, Arlene Sorkin, Diane Pershing, Richard Mall, and Aaron Kincaid. And that was a picture that was, oh, it's French? Oh, well, cool. Your username is French. So, well, that's fine. You can come back later and watch the whole episode. Just make sure you cue it up with the episode of the show. And that way you can hear me talk along with it. I'm assuming you've seen this episode hundreds of times because it's that good. So, but yeah, this is there's a few episodes that have a whole lot of villains on them, and this is probably the one that everybody likes best. So, and it's had merchandise made of this episode, specifically this episode. There's an Almost Got 'Em card game. There's a pop-up book with little figures that you can play around with, and it's kind of loosely based on this episode. So lots of cool stuff to go over with. But yeah, the cast photo I was talking about, that one was taken during the recording session for this episode, and there's a couple of them, but the more famous one is the one where they're all like acting like they're menacing Kevin Conroy, and he's just kind of whatever. But I put it up as a community post for anybody who is not familiar with it. You can check on my community posts and see that. So yeah, we're gonna have the Joker, we're gonna have the Penguin, we're gonna have Poison Ivy, we're gonna have Harley Quinn, we're gonna have Two-Face, we're gonna have Catwoman, we're gonna have Killer Croc. Is he in this one? I guess we're about to find out. So yeah, go ahead and queue it up on your HBO Max or your DVD or your Blu-ray or whatever streaming service you've rented it on. Maybe you've still got your old VHS cassette that you recorded way back in 1992 or 93 and rushed home after school when you were a kid and popped the cassette into the VCR to make sure you recorded this one because you knew it was going to have all these villains in it and it was going to be so cool. So let's go ahead and watch Almost Got Him. Interesting note to make also is this is the first time we will see an episode that has both Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, although they don't have any scenes together. But it would be the first time that they would be in an episode at the same time. So that's interesting. Got our bank blowing up. And the Batmobile ripping out of the Batcave. All those spotlights. I always got to wonder, like, who installed all that stuff, and maybe Bruce Wayne brought in like work crews from other countries that couldn't even speak English or something like that. Sent them back to Zimbabwe or Addis Ababa or the Himalayas or wherever they came from afterwards, and they just think they just built this weird sex dungeon for this rich American pervert. Anyway, almost got him. A great title card here with the poker game. It's going to be the framing device for this episode. And I often make fun of the way that sometimes they try to make it a mystery who the villain is. But here I think the point is you're supposed to obviously know that who these characters are. And it's more to kind of like say something about who the characters are than try to hide who the characters are. But like you can even see the kind of hands they're putting together, and the Joker's cheating. I think Harvey's trying to do a full house, which would make sense for him. Two of a kind, even. This is the first episode where Killer Croc is established as being kind of a moron. And there's another reason for that. Do you think she took down Croc a little too easily? Love this line. Oh, man. The business in the back with Croc taking the guy's chair. One of us would have gotten by now. I come to cook. Are you kidding? I was the one who knew you. Snuck the fat man with me. The fact of the matter is, we each have an almost rotten back. I know mine's the best. Let's hear yours anyway. Say lady first, but since we don't have it, we'll start with you. All right. This happened last Halloween. I like she's still wearing her big hat. So apparently this scene was originally supposed to have the Scarecrow, and for whatever reason, they decided it was a better idea to have Poison Ivy, which I agree with actually. All right. Trick or treat. I like her Halloween costume. Poison Ivy decided to dress as a sexy lady for Halloween, which I find is a popular Halloween choice for sexy ladies. But yeah, you can see how like this would have worked for a plot for the Scarecrow. And I forget what the reasoning was that they put Poison Ivy in, but I think she worked better for the episode because I think she has better chemistry with the other characters, the other villains, than Professor Crane would have. And I think that's the first time on the series that they mentioned her natural immunity to toxins, which of course will play a much bigger part in the episode Harley and Ivy when we get to that. She's just running around with no shoes on. I think Quentin Tarantino would have liked her Halloween costume also. And I think probably the people making the show like her Halloween costume because when they redesigned her for the new Batman Adventures, it's kind of a similar thing where it's that less of a green costume and more of a black costume with green highlights. So it still is a green costume, basically, but it's just like got more of a lighting effect on it. He's such an oddly specific criminal. So you see the giant penny there. Longtime readers of the comics will remember that that is a trophy that Batman keeps in his Batcave. So this is the explanation in the animated series as to where that giant penny came from. Although the really hardcore comic book fans like myself, we know that the giant penny actually came from the case of the Penny Plunderer, who was a much less impressive villain than Two-Face. So it makes sense they'd want to change it. So what happened next? So here we got Batman tied to the giant coin. So yeah, this is definitely like a better origin for the giant penny, I think. And Batman even has like a reason to kind of want to keep it as a memento in this one, whereas I think in the Penny Plunderer, it was just a thing that was in the background. But he's got Two-Face's coin, and he uses the sharp edge of it to cut through the ropes. That's the old penny that had the Lincoln Memorial on the back, which when I was a kid, I just thought it was like the trolley from Mr. Rogers. This will count the trolley. I'm pretty sure they died. It was well established that having the coin land on it would kill Batman, but that is a high forklift. Here, I owe you $1. Batman makes jokes, people. It happens. But I guess you'll always come in second. Anyone else want to go? There I was, hold up this water. When Batman came nosing around, getting closer. I threw a rock at him. Anyway, Aww. I would almost feel sorry for Killer Croc. Almost. Sheer criminal genius. None surpasses my most recent ornithologically inspired instrument. Small word, please. You're losing Croc. 4 weeks. And then, you know, Croc is a moron in this. Priceless reading convoys from the doctor's zoo. Sure enough, on the appointed night, guess who showed up? Batman. Spoilers. I always love seeing Penguin with the gimmicks and the umbrellas. I like the idea that Penguin has just like one umbrella that he's got all these gimmicks built into, like it was like his version of Batman's utility belt. So yeah, he's got swords and knives and guns and gas and acetylene torch. Oh no, I accidentally hit you with a harmless gas. That's Unfortunate, that's not even going to slow you down. What? Monday, screens have no drama in your souls. I'll mention again how much I love this version of Penguin. I like the use the Danny DeVito aesthetic, toned down a little bit, but he's very much the classic Penguin in terms of his personality and his modus operandi and everything like that. Uh-oh! I guess that gas wasn't as harmless as we thought. So if you think about it, Penguin had to have already, broken into this. It's pretty cool how it's all set up. Like Penguin was breaking into this place to set up a trap for Batman. It's all very cool. He wasn't planning on stealing anything. This is his trap. All to get Batman. Yeah. And I like how Penguin's been up against Batman so many times at this point. And he's so familiar with him. He knows Batman's every move before he's going to make it. Or at least he thinks he does. Oh, great acting on the Penguin there. So Batman uses one of the deadly birds against the other one. Didn't see that coming, did you, Pengy? So he was able to take his antidote. That's flown the coop. Bird puns. Not even close. He was already ready to brag about this. He's got the TV with the video cassette all queued up. Whether or not they were trading, almost got the Batman stories. He was going to tell his. I love that shot. That's a pretty subtle joke there. It's obviously an homage to the shot in The Shining where Jack Nicholson, who played the Joker in live action, says, "Here's Johnny," which of course it's a late night talk show. And for those of you too young to remember, The Tonight Show was for most of its run up to this point. He wasn't the original host, but the most famous host of The Tonight Show was Johnny Carson. At which point, much like Harley introduced Joker, Ed McMahon would introduce him as, "Here's Johnny." So that's a gag with a lot of layers to it. Joker throwing the stuff behind him and hearing the glass crash, that's an homage to David Letterman. And Batman strapped into the laugh-activated electric chair. Oh, and he looks so grim and stoic. Such a great shot. These little more to come bumpers, that was another thing that was on Johnny Carson's Tonight Show. He's making paper Batman masks. Do you think that was supposed to be like the opening of Batman's mask, or was it supposed to be a big smile? Wouldn't surprise me either way. Batman's just ignoring him. Not even gonna give him the satisfaction. Love the Joker's expression there. The animation is really good on this episode, too. It's no wonder it's so popular. There was a little animation error there you might have caught where, even though it's supposed to be black and white, Batman's belt was left yellow. It's the kind of thing you notice when you watch this episode like a few hundred times. So just the barest little chitter, and it still gives Batman a fairly painful little jolt. But he's going to make sure everybody laughs. Another animation error. You can see the blue painted in on Batman's costume. Literally roasting the hot dog over him. But Catwoman shows up to save him. Good for you, Selina. And of course, that's all Batman needs to get out of there. It left so hard it blew up the machine. Once the chair went up, I was out of there too. Still in black and white, although this part isn't actually on the show. Oh, she's so proud of herself, but Harley is Joker's little monkey wrench. Yeah. Pengy knows he's cheating. I don't get it. You just knocked out Catwoman and left her? Oh, come on. Didn't I say there's more than one way to get someone? Even as I speak, Catwoman is being trussed up at the Pussykins pet food factory. The look of horror on all of their faces. That's a little harsh even for them. I don't think so. And here's the best shot of the whole episode. Da-na-na-na! Batman! I love the way when the shadow falls over him, you can see it's Batman. Everybody wants to make cat puns about Catwoman, but Catwoman herself. And everybody there was a cop. Even Commissioner Gordon's in on it. And Bullock. But I'm not bad at tricks myself. Ta-da! So Batman must race to the Pussykins pet food factory, cat food factory, so that he can save Catwoman from becoming a fancy feast. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that fancy feast. It's a cat food. Cat chow, that is. then we are going to have the classic villain gambit of, what will you do, Batman? Capture me or save your kitten? Oh, do I? Womp womp. So Batman returns the favor to Selina for saving his life earlier.
Thanks for coming in. But I'd like to think our relationship is just strictly saving each other from freaks and weird. And that maybe we have a place for each other without the freaks. Maybe without men.
Well, maybe one day, but not just yet.
Almost done.
All kinds of ways to get someone. Such a good episode. And of course, I'm gonna try to pause the ending credits so we can go over a voice cast, even though like there's no one new here. These are all voices we're very familiar with here. So Kevin Conroy is Batman, Adrienne Barbeau as Catwoman, Mark Hamill is the Joker, Aaron Kincaid as Killer Croc, Richard Mall as Two-Face, Diane Pershing as Poison Ivy, Arlene Sorkin as Harley Quinn, and Paul Williams as the Penguin. So that was a pretty great episode, and obviously a big part of the reason that episode is as beloved as it is because of the presence of all the supervillains. And it's nice to see them all in one episode like that. It's nice to see how they interact with each other. Like, I kind of figure, like, you would expect the Joker is like the alpha of the supervillains, and he's the one who's manipulating all the rest of them and calling all the shots. And you've got Penguin, who, as typical, has his little air of superiority. He's like this wannabe snob, but he's not quite as classy as he thinks he is. Two-Face is, tough and gruff and everything. And of course, Killer Croc wasn't even Killer Croc at all, was he? He was just Batman disguised as Killer Croc. Which makes it interesting that this is the first episode where they, like, kind of portray Killer Croc as being a bit of a moron, but it wasn't really Killer Croc to begin with. It was always Batman in disguise. But, later on we see Killer Croc, he's portrayed as not being the sharpest knife in the drawer. So it kind of stuck. So, yeah. And of course we get the nice little back and forth between Batman and Catwoman. I'm still of the opinion that I wish they had have done more with their relationship on this show. I would have liked to have seen more. Like, we know that she's actually a lot more special to Batman than he lets on, because we saw in the episode "Perchance to Dream" that in his ultimate fantasy he winds up engaged to Selina Kyle, and then in Batman Beyond, even when Terry has his little love affair with I think it was Ken. Is it Ken from the Royal Flush Gang? And he's talking with Bruce about it, and Bruce is like, "Let me tell you about a woman named Selina Kyle." So yeah, it's very much in that sort of thing where, like, yeah, he loves her. He doesn't want to admit it, but he loves her. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed watching this episode again, as I knew I would. I hope you enjoyed watching it along with me. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this episode. And is it your favorite Batman the Animated Series episode? I know it is for a lot of people, but is it your favorite? And if not, what is your favorite episode? And where would you rank this one as far as other Batman episodes go? So I'm interested to hear that sort of thing. So let's take a look at what our next episode will be. And our next episode is Moon of the Wolf. So yeah, that's one I've been thinking about a lot lately, and it's come up a lot in conversations like with the whole Professor Milo thing, because that's probably his biggest part on this series. And I really like the character of Professor Milo and what winds up happening to him in the comic, which I think is really funny. And anybody who's read Arkham Asylum by Grant Morrison and Dave McKeon, you know what I'm talking about. You know what winds up happening to poor old Professor Milo, and frankly, the creep deserved it. but uh, but yeah, so that's going to be pretty much it for this episode. If you want to make sure that you don't miss any future episodes in this, make sure you like and subscribe and all the YouTube stuff down below. Shout out to those of you who are catching this in the replay. Probably actually the best way to watch this is in the replay, I think. You know, unless you happen to get it all queued up while I'm doing this as a live stream. Honestly, I mainly do these as live streams because it's more convenient for me. But yeah, the way you're intended to watch this is to have, you know, the episode on your TV and have this on your phone, and then you can watch them both at the same time. But you know, I figure if you're familiar enough with the episodes, you could probably just listen along to me watching it and know what I'm talking about. But not everybody is as familiar with the episodes as we are, right? So so yeah, make sure you like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Hit the little bell if you do want to catch these when they go live. That's the best way to do that. I'm going to be back tomorrow with Moon of the Wolf, and I might even do an action figure unboxing tomorrow while I'm at it. Who knows? We'll talk to you next time. Bye.